welcome back. You're watching our very special 200th episode of Overdrive. I'm stuck in a dust storm in Delhi, but the boys are doing it in style. Bert decided to drive down in the Landcruiser from Dalhousie to Himachal, and after his road test, he was joined by Singh and the rest of the team, and they decided to bring some pretty expensive metal to the party: the Mitsubishi Montero, the Toyota Landcruiser, and the Mercedes GL. So clearly, all that they needed was a challenge. Take a look.
After monstering the highways and lower section of twisties, Overdrive's convoy of large and luxurious SUVs crossed the snow line and arrived near Dalhousie's hilltop. But while the snow was piled high on both sides, a bulldozer had cleared the path on the main road. So after spending a few minutes admiring the view, we moved on to look for a tough stretch. This is the track leading up to Singh's house here at Dalhousie, where we're going to be staying the night. And this track right now has about between 4 and 6 feet deep snow all over it. And let's see which of these SUVs, if any, can make it all the way up. At first glance, the task we set ourselves looks quite simple, especially when you have 2 crores worth of high-tech machinery to play with. But to even give ourselves a fighting chance, we had to fit every one of the SUVs with snow chains. But since our chains were homemade and rather unrefined, we could only fit them on the rear wheels.
Since there's no place between the shock absorber and the coil spring in the front and the tyre, there's absolutely no gap for the chain to rotate and to fit in as well. So that's why we only have a choice of putting the chains at the rear.
Having got his hands on the newest SUV of the lot, Bert set off first to blaze the trail in the Discovery, only to come to a grinding halt in about 20 meters.
So now what's happened is that the Land Rover's beached itself. The snow is accumulated under the undercarriage, and it prevents any SUV from progressing further because it's just sort of like an immovable wall.
The immediate solution then was to break out the shovels and start digging. Bert was particularly thrilled to see Sirish doing all the digging.
So the last time we had an adventure of this sort involving SUVs, I helped Sirish ruin a perfectly good pair of shoes. This time around, it's a perfectly good pair of jeans. What are those? Diesels?
After a few minutes of hard work, Bert tried again. But there was absolutely no moving the Discovery. And so the support vehicle we'd brought along, a Thar equipped with a winch, was pressed into service to lend the Discovery a hand. And after making a few changes to his settings and turning off traction control, Bert was ready to try again.
We will soldier on!
But while he kept on going for a bit, the huge mounds of tightly packed snow finally brought the Land Rover to a halt. And after trying to dig it out again, we were all just about ready to give up.
See this, I didn't come all the way to Dalhousie to shovel snow. I think the Discovery 4 has finally discovered its limits. So I'm going to call it quits over here. I've opened up a trail, hopefully that the others might follow. Let's see just how good, or rather how further ahead of the Land Rover they can go.
Next to take on the IC challenge was Overdrive's Great Dictator, in the Dictator's weapon of choice.
Well, the Range Rover has a lot of history, it has a lot of heritage, but no less the Landcruiser. This is the vehicle that all African dictators use to run away from their captors. Their armies use Hilux pickups and they use Landcruisers. This has been tried, tested, used everywhere and has all come out shining. Now let's be honest, Bertie has gone through this part with the Land Rover and he has flattened it out a bit. But let's see, once we get to the spot that he got stuck, let's see how much further can we go. So we've come to the first 50 meters and it's been no problem, absolutely. This massive V8 engine and the massive torque that is made is just monstering over everything. Sure, the track is made, but this is not struggling at all. This is like a walk in the park. It's perfectly comfortable doing these things, and now,
And in his enthusiasm to get ahead of me, Sirish has now gone and beached the Landcruiser. The Landcruiser has landed itself in the snow.
So without even trying, I've gone ahead of Bert. Bert, that's your line, right?
Right, and I'm very proud of you, my boy. Like all pioneers who blaze the path ahead, you followed very proudly in my footsteps. So I must say, I'm proud of myself.
Listen, either it's the car or it's me.
After a small trail was cleared, the Landcruiser got going again and kept on going. Before finally succumbing to a high snowdrift and a steep slope. With the sun setting and a long day of physical labor behind us, it was time to call it quits and wait till day 2 to see just what the other SUVs could come up with.
Well, it's unfair. I protest. I'm stuck here on Delhi's dusty roads while the boys are partying Overdrive style. Time now for us to take a break, but when we return, 2 more beasts take on the icy slopes and the boys get into a fight.